It's a special moment for him because he grew up on the New York City playgrounds. Went to Long Island Lutheran, but Donnie, he's never played a game at Madison Square Garden.
Early on, it'll be interesting to see how this Marquette team plays in terms of pace. They're a team that scores almost 17 points a game in transition. I don't know if you want to get into a trap meet with St. John's in this building tonight.
These are two top 30 teams in that category. Out to the corner, Ejiofor Sellers gets the Red Storm started.
That's all. Bryce Hopkins doing a nice job off the dribble. Listen, Zuby, Ejiofor, and Bryce Hopkins have really been the standard bearers for this St. John's team all season long, and just an unselfish play. Ejiofor Sellers had a chance to check the wind direction on that one. They got to close the gaps, Marquette.
Golden Eagles had a trip against Villanova as James gets them started hanging.
Talk about fearless. I mean, you get downstairs, Zuby Ejiofor will send that thing back.
Ejiofor with two hands from Dylan Mitchell, who's been inserted in the starting lineup. What difference has that made?
Well, it gives them more length, a little bit more size, athletic ability as well. And Dylan Mitchell's one of those guys I call off-schedule players. You don't need to run anything for him to make good things happen.
Sharp start for the Red Storm.
Yeah, this is just a little misdirection. When you're stretched out that far, you have to know that along that baseline or in that paint, it's going to be exposed.
Mitchell can't hit. Ejiofor corrals and sticks it back. Zuby Ejiofor.
That's just where he's so good. You think you got a body on him. This is one of those games, if you're Marquette, where you have to get your work done early, quote unquote. And that's find the body early in that possession.
James turned it over. The Johnnies have started right where they left off. Hopkins glides in. Timeout shot to Smart.
They're depleted a little bit. You got to have communication. There's got to be more talk. There's got to be more pointing. Just letting guys understand where you are, especially on the road in this building.
And James was out of bounds, so you get a third Marquette turnover and not even the game's first 2 minutes.
Now you think about it too, that the guards for St. John's are big as well in terms of height. They have some size to them. Jackson, Sellers, I mean, they're big.
Sellers again. Ejiofor Sellers, he is sizzling.
It's interesting, people early in season talked about the prognosticators, if you will, John. If St. John's can knock down open shots, I think they've answered that bell. But I really believe it's because of that front line, guys, their willingness to make the extra pass when they see a double team come. And
well, Sellers a 40% three-point shooter. In conference play, he's got 15 assists to just one turnover. James is fouled.
That's where he's
around. He said, look, they always believed they would play me up. You know this. You're 7 years old. He goes, I was playing against 10, 11-year-olds. Dad said it would prepare me.
That's how you get better. It doesn't happen a lot nowadays, at least not in every sport. They want you to stay with your same age, but I just think that stunts the growth of the kids who have that special gift. So it's always better to learn how to become tougher and stronger through tests, you know. Go out there, get your butt kicked a little bit. That's how you become better.
Long Island Lutheran zone. Spend time with the PSA Cardinals, the New York Rens on the circuit.
Give it up.
He's got it now. Nigel James, he botched the dunk.
You got it too late, though. Got to get that ball up a little bit sooner. Stevens has to do a better job of throwing that ball ahead. Let your point guard decide what happens after that. Nice rotation there. You get back into your own guy.
Ejiofor, too much contact, and he's fouled. Think about this guy at the line right now. Stat sheet stuffing his way to really special ranks, because, Donnie, when you're talking about guys leading their team in scoring, rebounding, assists, blocks, and steals, nobody else at the high major level is doing it except Zuby Ejiofor. The only guys doing it in points, rebounds, and assists, Texas's Dalen Swain, he could play. And you've heard of Cameron Boozer.
Yeah, a couple times. and you know, we talk about those players as individuals, but their teams are good because of them and because the coaches recognize they need to touch the ball as much as possible, and not just to score, but to make the right.
East tournament crown, making history, and now they feel like, as much as they took some early losses, Donnie, they're cashing in on what was a hard schedule. Nice move by James. That doesn't go.
Yeah, well, Clark's going to learn. He's a young player. He's going to learn when you have that ball from 0 feet, you got to finish strong. No layups in there for a guy his size.
3 short. Shaka Smart said, can we box him out? They don't hear. He emphasized that to his team, Donnie.
And it's just find a body. Whoever's closest to you. It doesn't have to be your guy, John.
10 on the shot clock. Sandin. Off to Ian Jackson, the North Carolina transfer into Ejiofor with 3. Ejiofor on the move. Can't hit, got it back. Ejiofor, no.
It's because you know St. John's, especially Zuby Ejiofor, is not going to.
Ejiofor ranks first in the Big East, 10th in the country. Coming in this game with 130 free throw attempts. I know this won't surprise you, partner, because St. John's is 15th in the country in free throws made per game with almost 20.
Yeah. They're just so aggressive and have really done a nice job of I thought, against Creighton, they played with just this control with fury at the same time. I mean, they threw the ball up, they played fast, and they brought it out. They were just, it was an interesting game because we thought it was going to be a blowout. Then Creighton, you just can never expect that you're going to blow them out in that building. But St. John's kept their foot down and really played under control the entire game.
12 on the shot clock. Chase Ross. That's an encouraging sign for the Golden Eagles.
And he needs that, I think, as much as anyone on this Marquette team. He is the leader. He knows that. But you know, some guys can go get their own and find their own. I don't think he hasn't been in this program and, you know, playing like that. This is the first year where he's really had to go get his own offense, but his teammates have to help him get into better spots.
Just 26% on the year. Mitchell was long, tipped out, and it belongs to the Golden Eagles. Taking us to a timeout. Ejiofor, and it was not from a basketball game.
And you better not lose that.
But you witnessed it, and you didn't object to that.
That's it. I did. I was there.
Oh, did you say I object?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Nope. Well, maybe for her sake.
I was going to say. By the way, you looked at that banner out of the timeout. If there's any testament to what Rick Pitino means to your program, that was the first in 25 years for the Storm.
It's interesting because I think one person knew that this thing would turn around, and now, as you mentioned, what was the 3rd year in a row that they've gone 4-1 out of the gates in conference play. He's the one person who knew that this thing would be what it is right now.
Shot clock at 2 into Mitchell from Dylan Darling.
You know, you can, and I understand, you know, Shaka understands this game as well as any coach in college basketball. He is not just a phenomenal human being, Shaka, but a phenomenal coach. He knows that this isn't just his young guys not talking or making that extra rotation. It's great offense. It really is. St. John's, they're moving with a different fluidity than we saw early in the season, and sometimes it takes a minute to understand what your coach wants from you. I think they figured it out, St. John's.
Ross grinding in. Chase Ross with the left hand. That aggressiveness is what Shaka Smart told us pregame had to happen.
Yeah, he's got to search. And he's the one guy that, and probably Nigel James Jr., but at least, you know, a guy who's been there, he's the one who's got to go search it out, and you'll allow that.
3 points against Villanova on Saturday. Could not find it much. 3 of 12 in that game. That one is off, and here comes Marquette after that tough start. Chance to get within 6, if not 5.
And they're going to pick their spots. When we talked to Shaka Smart before the game, he said, you know, we can't run with a reckless abandon. It's okay right now.
All Big East preseason selection, Chase Ross. They expected him to be the star. Take that torch from Cam Jones, who's now doing it in the NBA with the Pacers. Michael Phillips II is fouled on a
quality minutes. And in a building like this, we'll have to work on that. He's only made 3 free throws on the season. He's probably too good of a shooter to be shooting under, you know, 42% from the foul line. Got to get there more, though. He's only taken 9.
Sellers. It started hot. He's off. So Donnie Marquette's recovered a little bit here off the tough start. Ross to the corner. Owens, he cashes in from downtown.
Owens is the other guy that Shaka Smart pointed out to us that he thinks can take that next leap.
Since the last Marquette turnover, Golden Eagles 11, St. John's 5. Owens was just 6 of 24 on the year before that three. Darling got James off of him, couldn't hit. Here comes Marquette, they've got numbers. Parham drives all the way. Owens can't clean it up. Neither can Phillips. That sums up Marquette's season.
You have to give it up, John. Give it to your guard, even if you have to slow the dribble down.
Can they continue it in this second half? One big note, Bryce Hopkins, we only saw him for 2 minutes in the first half because he committed 2 early fouls. Wow. That's Dylan Mitchell, hammer time.
Now that's from Osiah Sellers. Again, this is why he's on the floor so much for Rick Pitino. Just he's starting to turn into that, I would say, that Zuby Ejiofor, but on the perimeter.
17 assists to 1 turnover in Big East Conference play.
Goodness.
Parham misses from point-blank range. Marquette had been 7 of their last 10 from 2 before that miss.
This is where St. John's is really tough. Bryce Hopkins can bring the ball up the floor. Zuby Ejiofor can bring it up. Well, that's a nice contest. Jump ball, earning that possession back by Marquette. I mean, this just can't happen. Chase Ross has to know better, but that has to be better communication on that weak side. Let someone sneak behind you on that baseline. Bad things happen.
Parham's foot was out of bounds. 11th turnover as you put your hands to your eyes.
I just don't understand that. You practice on the same size court every single day. And it continues to happen. We see this, John, you and I, at least once a game.
It is true.
Where guys step out of bounds in front of their own bench. It's incredible.
I stepped out of bounds quite a bit in my playing career to go to the bench. That one hit every part of the rim and then went in for Ejiofor. He's got 9.
Well, they're off to the start that we saw them at the beginning of the game, St. John's. Ejiofor down low and Mitchell along that baseline. Easy dunks.
Stevens crossover. Shaka Smart told us this freshman has bright potential. He's got to be more aggressive.
Offensively, and I think the defense will come for him as well.
James floating off, well defended.
Ball inside and let him go one-on-one all game long. He's going to win most of those battles through the Ejiofor.
Here is Ejiofor. He can knock that shot down. We've seen it. Instead of hand to Hopkins, tough shot. It was short. Rebound to Ross. Into Caden Hamilton, who hasn't scored tonight, has not attempted a shot. This time he delivers a dish.
How about a pass? Yeah, how about the wonderful pass? Hamilton, head up. You always got to keep your eyes up.
Just the 4th Marquette assist. That's something you've been calling on.
Well, it's not because they're not willing to pass the ball, John. It's just guys are standing still too much. You know, you have to move when that ball stops. Cut, show up. You've heard it. Your greatest ability is availability, and you got to show up for your teammates when that ball stops or they get double teamed or they're in some trouble.
This is not a 6-11 club that's 1-5 in the league.
No, it's a team that just, you know, they have been put together in a different fashion than most teams have. You know, it wasn't portal combat for Shaka Smart and his guys. It was get some young guys and build them.
Kick out with 2 on the shot clock. Sellers was off. Rebound brought in by Hopkins.
He's so good down there. He just has that great second bounce.
Sellers hits. Osiah Sellers has 17.
And you don't want to point to just one player that is the reason why a team is playing better. But Osiah Sellers is one of those guys that has really come into form, if you will, in understanding Rick Pitino and his system and what they ask for.
He has 16 or more in 3 of his last 5. Hamilton. Caden Hamilton.
He's another one of those players, Hamilton, that he has such a huge upside. You just want him to play with a confidence that shows everyone that he believes he's one of the best players on the floor.
Haskins tries. Long. St. John's was 2 for 2 to start the game from beyond the arc. They're 2 for 10 since. Attacking, and that'll be a foul. Oh.
Talk about raised in tough soil. That's how you learn life when you're the youngest of 9. Earn everything you have.
They want him to be more hungry.
Yeah.
They're asking him. Get after it. Ejiofor, that'll count. Goaltend on Ross. We've seen Chase Ross's vertical throughout the night.
Yeah, I like to go get it, though. I love that he went up there to challenge.
41.5-inch vertical jump. How's that for you?
Wow.
Darling swarms. Darling lost it.
Gotta keep playing, though.
Owens kept it. Stevens can't ring the bell. Hopkins has it.
They're lucky.
Hopkins to Ejiofor. Nice delivery from Bryce to Zuby.
Darling can't complain. You know, you got away with it there, but that's just not something you do in the middle of a play. This isn't Premier League soccer where you can yell at the ref because you didn't get a call. Things happen too fast in this game.
And you can catch the Premier League on NBC Peacock. 12 on the shot clock. That's trouble. And it will be a 12th Marquette turnover, and it will be a timeout.
It really doesn't matter.
Whoa.
Play anybody.
Chase Ross with the foul. How about in the NFC West, 3 of the 4 teams are stone players.
Was there a George Kittle update? That hurts. George Kittle is out. It's a humongous loss for them.
It is brutal. Torn Achilles.
Yep. You can almost see it if you've seen those before. The calf kind of just reverberate when it happened.
Came to see that. 10-point game here in Manhattan. St. John's 4-1, the Big East for a 3rd consecutive year. Ejiofor,
Good
he was way out of control.
I mean, that's really nice defense. You get Zuby Ejiofor out of that middle, falling away. It's a nice stance.
Ross to Parham. Parham is fouled. You said you wanted him to leave. He was an all-Big East freshman.
Yeah.
He had a terrific freshman year.
And now this is the next step. It's taking over a team and being that inside presence. When your coaches are telling you it's all yours, go take it. You have to accept it. The good and the bad that come with it, but still a lot of growth. Parham's ability.
Shot clock at 5. Ejiofor with 3. Ejiofor with 2. Tough shot.
Good D again. Terrific job, John.
Ross to Parham. Fouled by Darling.
More and the focus is on them more. So we've all been in that situation, but he's on the floor for a reason. Shaka believes in him.
On the other side, St. John's going through a bit of a drought right now. And another broken possession. Darling with 8 on the shot clock. Ibn Ayo, he's long. Darling found a way to the offensive rebound. Back into the hands of Sellers. Darling tries. The drought continues, but a 3rd opportunity. Sellers. Buy-in. Isaiah Sellers, 20 points. On the other end, that's long. Out of bounds, St. John's ball as Phillips was long.
Guys, if you will, John, that you throw him out there, he plays with energy and just comes up with really good possessions and keep the ball alive.
Sellers 2 off his season high. Into the big man, Ejiofor. And he was fouled.
The double came just a little bit too late. Once he's into his move, it's too late to come if you're going to dive down on a double or come across that baseline. If you haven't started running when that ball's in the air, take a look here, John. He's too low, first of all. The double should already be there, but once he's into his move, it's too late.
Zuby Ejiofor, preseason player of the year in the Big East. Rick Pitino says that his work ethic is among the best that he has coached. First Johnny to be named preseason player of the year in the league since Shamari Pons in 2018-19. You'd have to go back to Malik Sealy
Wow.
for somebody that got that recognition. That was early 90s.
I mean, that's pretty high praise. I would say maybe not a comparison, but definitely in the same sentence. You'd mentioned Zuby Ejiofor's name.
But describe Ejiofor's motor when you're watching him.
Yeah, he's turned into a player that's very efficient with the way he plays, with his strength and his ability to move into open spots. His spatial awareness is really out of this world now.
Wow, hanging in the air and hitting Demarius Owens, showing his athleticism.
But even there, I would say, you know, a couple years ago, Zuby Ejiofor would have fouled in that situation.
E.B. Niles way off. Rebound for Mitchell. Darling thought about it.
It was a great finish, but Zuby.
The work ethic of him is among the best I've had. That says it all.
I mean, he's named one of his racehorses after him.
Yes.
The first, when I buy a racehorse, I'm going to name him Phantom.
Enjoy the loser circle. E.B. Niles with the steal. Sellers, no. But here's the thing, that horse is progressing nicely to potentially run in the Kentucky Derby. Ross way off. And a foul, that'll send. And Marquette, they've hung around. Can they break through? It's a 10-point game at the Garden. Darling, rejected. Michael Phillips, the second with the block.
Yeah, I think Michael Phillips, under Shaka Smart's tutelage, is going to be a terrific player. He's got a great body, so young. Still got a lot to learn in this game at this level, but it's going to be really good.
Sellers, no. Hopkins, his team came into the season with massive expectations. Final Four type.
Yeah.
They've played a very hard schedule at this point. What do you make of where they're at now?
I think they're back on track. You didn't say St. John's, yes. Because the guard play has caught up with the front line. Coach Pitino has understood his team better, because let's face it, he's a Hall of Famer, but there's still a learning curve for him with brand new players. You talked about it earlier. You plug in some new pieces to a team that won 31 games last year. You have to figure out who they are just as much as they have to figure out who they are. And I think they're starting to.
Owens was able to force the turnover, 11th St. John's turnover.
Things are starting to catch up, and you're right. They played a tough schedule. The Auburns and Baylors, Ole Miss, I mean, Kentucky.
No question about it. Parham lays it in. Royce Parham with 8 points. The only major blemish is the quad 3 home loss to Providence. That's it.
Yeah.
They have 3 quad 1 wins. Yeah. This time last year, they only had 1. 1 quality win. They already have 3. Hopkins off the window.
I would love to see more of Bryce Hopkins. Like we talked about Chase Ross finding his own offense.
There's the pressure.
Really nice job there, getting a deflection.
Ejiofor looking for Sellers. Hopkins will slay it in.
He just has that NBA body, and they have some of those bodies on this Marquette team right now that have to grow into themselves, but it's just what Shaka kind of recruits.
James off the right side of the rim. This is St. John's largest lead.
Yeah, it's a scary time for Marquette. Things start to open up a little bit. You got to tighten down.
Ejiofor doubled, Ejiofor foul.
For himself, it's all for the team. Just such a luxury to have a guy like that, especially late game when you got to seal it. Take a look at him right here. He's just forcing the issue, getting fouled, and immediately trying to get stuff fixed out. What are you doing? He's asking Dylan Darling, wait, what are you doing? No, you're not supposed to be there. I love that part of him. We know what he does physically and how he just commands so much, but now vocally that he's turned into such a wonderful leader. It's really cool to see.
And here's that pressure now again. James elusive. And now a foul on Darling, and Darling and James get it.
Neither one of these two are going to back down. And why not? You know, you forced them already into 15 turnovers, excuse me, Marquette.
And make it 16 because out of bounds is called.
Yeah.
And that's just been it for the Golden Eagles. The other thing, have not gotten enough help beyond James and Ross. Ross has been much quieter in this second half. In fact, neither James or Ross has scored in this second half. Ejiofor, spin move, the pass to Hopkins!
On his ability to draw and find guys, and so unselfish, John. 6 assists against Marquette on the weekend. His move, it's too late. We've seen it already multiple times.
Look at the ball pressure.
Gotta help. Someone's gotta move.
You're near half court right now. That's a foul on Hopkins. You may look at the score and think, all right, 17-point game. St. John's has it well in hand. But, Donnie, this is the next step for this St. John's team. Can they put people away? And they did that last week.
Yeah.
You saw it twice.
Yeah, they really did. They understood, you know what, continue to pick up the pressure. And that's why we've seen that full court press on those made buckets.
Phillips, straight up defense by Ejiofor.
How about that? Again, another opportunity that he could have, a situation he could have been in foul trouble, and he took the opportunity to go up, challenge, straight up in the air.
That's 2 occurrences now that you've brought up there. And Sellers, yes. Ozziah Sellers has matched his St. John's high on the season with 22. James blocked. Sellers came in with a rejection. It'll stay with Marquette.
And he's had a beautiful couple of games. 22 points tonight. 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 8 of 14 shooting. 4 of 8 from 3 for Sellers.
That's 1 off his season high. 5 points shy of his career high. We're going to get a travel on Parham.
It was a travel or 3 seconds. I mean, when you pivot 3 times, you're pretty much counting for the officials, but got to be a little quicker into that move. And again, if you don't see anyone moving in front of you when you're trying to make a move, you're going to basically say, I got to go up and get this up quick, just not quick enough there.
Here's Hopkins. He's up to 10 points, was a non-factor in the first half, and now Bryce Hopkins is starting to go.
Just special talent, power, agility. He's got to go find it himself at times.
He's a preseason All-Big East first teamer, top 12 in the transfer rankings.
That's respect. That's other teams understanding and coaches knowing how good you are when you've only played 17 games the previous 2 seasons.
Starting his career at Kentucky. That also shows you the type of upside.
Yeah.
When you get recruited by John Calipari.
There at that big lead. This is what good teams do. They wear other teams down. You're not just going to come out and be up 21-zip to start a game. Got to have patience, but over time, this team is built to wear teams down. I thought that's what they've done in the second half to Marquette.
And the Red Storm have just rolled to the rim. Dylan Mitchell again.
That was such a beautifully run play out of a timeout. Everyone on the same page. So many times you see guys forget where they're supposed to be on the floor. When you have veterans, it's easier to call those plays and see them through.
They're 20 of 36 on 2s. That's a 3, and the Golden Eagles had to have it in the worst way. Chase Ross with 17. Give him 1,000 points on his Marquette career.
Just a nice run play here in a little bit of a zone, almost a 3-2 zone.
Santa no, Ejiofor's there. Zuby's got 18.
That's just hard to run when you get down and the ball goes up and guys don't know who's supposed to be where. Wow.
Nigel James on a pogo stick.
And he is some athlete. When they say he's 6 feet tall, I'm guessing he's a little under that as we kind of walk by him, and he's about the same height as Shaka Smart. We got to find out how tall Shaka Smart is.
Sandin taking some contact. Ejiofor's a beast. Give him 20 and 6.
Just undermanned Marquette, and you know the veterans of St. John's find ways to just get into your body. They hit you so hard, they wear you down.
His 5th 20-plus point game of the year. He had 33 against Providence.
Yeah. And own the glass in that game, too. 15 rebounds in that game.
He had over half the team's, close to half the team's points by himself. We're seeing this team kick it into another gear.
Yeah. You know, if you can get your Josan Sanin, if you can get, to me, that's a sign of a good team when they can score 74 points with 5.5 minutes left and haven't shot the ball great from downtown.
Hopkins creating. Hopkins off the front of the rim. Chase Ross tries again. Hamilton, no. Owens was denied by Mitchell.
Hamilton probably surprised that ball came right to him. I mean, it fell right into his
need of a win. They're at a Creighton team that now needs to bounce back squarely on the bubble. Saturday night, 8 Eastern, get ready. St. John's and Nova from Philly, Georgetown Nova next week. But how about that game? Kevin Willard against his former boss, Rick Pitino.
And Kevin Willard obviously doing a phenomenal job. But he just, I don't think he gets enough credit for being one of those great coaches we talk about throughout the basketball season. Not just in the Big East. We know has the respect, but I think nationally as well, Kevin Willard deserves to be in those same conversations.
Yes, Sanin drills it.
He's one of those other guys, I think, that is going to continue to be more comfortable.
You think about this league, Connecticut, and what they've done, rolling to 6-0.
Yeah,
that'll be a throwaway. There's some sloppiness that'll have the coach not happy. This St. John's team has the 3 quad 1 wins. Seton Hall's 14-2. Villanova's about to be 14-3. Like the top echelon of this league, Donnie, is very interesting.
It really is. There are teams up there no one considered would be up there. When you talk about the preseason rankings, besides a UConn.
James on
trying to switch hands.
Oh, he gets it back. Yeah. That's a New York City guard. Sanin trying to find in and out, and Ross with the board. Ross will look ahead. Owens on the jam. Demarius Owens into double figures. 3 Golden Eagles are. Timeout. Rick Pitino will take 1, 2. Johnny's on their way to a 5-1 start in the Big East. Efficiency, 7 of 10 from the floor. That is what we have seen from the senior.
And has played with 2 fouls for most of this latter part of this game, John. Stayed on the floor, didn't take away from his aggressiveness. Oh wow.
They're going to call blocking foul.
Wow, I thought alma mater's name.
That is quite.
What does that feel like?
Quite the story. You would know it well. First time in 4 years, though, for the Pirates. Gene Holloway doing a heck of a job. Look at Ejiofor. That personifies Zuby. That play right there shows you why he is one of the best in the country.
That play should be on just a continuous replay over and over and over again.
Look at the unselfishness. Sellers. Long, but Ross with the board.
Wow.
You're still fighting. You've got a victory well in hand. That should lead the film room, right?
Man, I mean,
how much when you do that, then does that make any time you talk to a teammate, it makes them respect everything you say?
I mean, it's not even to disrespect anyone on your team. It's just to say, hey, this is what winning looks like. This is where we want to be.
That's a guy who was part of the first outright Big East regular season title for this program since 1985.
Goodness.
Sanin with some late moments.
I mean, that's the play of the game in a 20-point game, John. I mean, usually plays of the game come when you're trying to stretch the lead or you're trying, it's a rubber match. Play of the game came when it was a 20-point game.
The 3 for Adrian Stevens.
Let's talk about it. Adrian Stevens is one of those guys who's going to be a really good 2-way player for Marquette. Learn those angles defensively, so tough.
Wow, Jackson, who had not scored tonight, gets on the board. And for St. John's, they've seen 9 different guys score in this game. Chase Ross, Nigel James, quieter in this second half. They both entered halftime in double figures. Ross